My girlfriend said, "I'm not coming to your marathon. Running is boring and I have better things to do." I'd been training for 8 months to run in honor of my late brother. I said, "That's okay." Then I ran the race, crossed the finish line, and was greeted by everyone I loved. Except her? I'm 29M, work a regular 9 to 5 in logistics. Nothing fancy. 2 years ago, my younger brother died in a car accident. Drunk driver. He was 24. He was a runner in the family. Cross country, local races. The guy who would drag me out at 6 a.m. and say, "You don't run because it's easy. You run because it hurts and you're still here." After he died, I stopped doing a lot of things. Then last year, I signed up for a full marathon in his honor. Not to prove anything. Not to post about it. Just because it felt like something solid I could hold on to. I trained for 8 months. Early mornings. Long Saturdays. Ice packs on my knees before work. My girlfriend knew all of this. We'd been together a little over a year at that point. We also worked at the same company, different departments, so we saw each other at work sometimes but didn't report to the same managers or anything like that. About 3 weeks before race day, we were on the couch. I had my legs up on a pillow, icing my knee. She goes, "So, about your marathon." I said, "Yeah?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "I'm not coming." I thought she was joking. "What do you mean?" "It's just running. I'd be standing around for hours watching people jog past. And I already told my friends I'd go to brunch that weekend." I sat up. "I've been training for 8 months. She shrugged. "Okay, that doesn't make it fun." "It's not about fun," I said. "It's for my brother." She sighed. Actually sighed. "You've been using that as a reason for everything lately." That stung. I said, "It's one day. It's important to me." She replied, "You're making it dramatic." I paused for a second and then just said, "That's okay." And I meant it in that moment. I wasn't going to beg someone to show up. Race morning. She wasn't there. She'd stayed at her friend's place, so she wouldn't get woken up by all your alarms. My parents came. My father, who doesn't show much emotion, looked nervous for me. My mother had a small photo of my brother tucked in her jacket pocket. My best friend came. My uncle came. Even my old high school coach showed up because my father told him about it. The race itself was brutal. Around mile 18, my legs were cramping. Around mile 22, I honestly didn't know if I'd finish. I kept hearing my brother in my head saying, "You're still here." I crossed the finish line in 3 hours and 47 minutes. Not amazing, not terrible. I wasn't there to win. I just wanted to finish. My parents were waiting. My mother hugged me and cried. My father hugged me in that tight way he does when he's trying not to cry. My best friend was yelling like I'd just won the Olympics. I kept looking around anyway. She wasn't there. Later that afternoon, after I got home and showered, my phone buzzed. "Huh, did you win?" That was it. No, how did it go? No, I'm proud of you. Just did you win? I stared at it for a while. Then I opened my camera roll and sent her a photo my friend had taken at the finish line. I'm holding my medal. My parents are behind me. My mom's holding that little picture of my brother. I didn't add any text. She replied, "Oh, that's sweet." Sweet. That night she came over like nothing had happened. "I saw your post," she said, dropping her bag on the chair. "Your caption was kind of intense." My caption was literally, "For the one who taught me how to keep going." I said, "Intense how?" Everyone in the comments is acting like you ran into a burning building. I looked at her and asked, "What's your point?" "I just think you're milking this a little." I said, slowly, "Milking what?" She said, "The whole grief thing." That was the moment something clicked for me. "You think I'm milking my brother's death?" She crossed her arms. "I think you like the attention." I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said, "I need space." She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said. "I'm being done." Her face changed. "You're breaking up with me over a marathon." "No," I said. "I'm breaking up with you because when something mattered to me, you made it about yourself." She stood up. "After everything I put up with." What exactly have you put up with? Your mood swings, your obsession with this race, your constant grief. I opened the door and said, "You should go." She left. I thought that was it. It wasn't. 2 days later, I got an email from HR asking to meet. Apparently, someone had filed a complaint saying I had been emotionally unstable and displaying erratic behavior at work. I knew immediately who it was. We were still technically co-workers. We didn't share a supervisor, but HR complaints go through the same system. In the meeting, HR asked if I was feeling overwhelmed or if I needed support. I explained the situation. I stayed calm. I told them about the marathon, the breakup, and that I hadn't had any issues with anyone at work. They said they had to document the complaint, but they hadn't observed any performance or conduct problems. They offered the company's employee assistance program just as a standard thing. When I walked out, she was by the elevators. "You reported me," I said. She didn't deny it. I was concerned. "You told them I was unstable. You broke up with me out of nowhere." "I broke up with you because you dismissed my brother's death." She said, "You can't prove that's why I filed it." That's when I realized this wasn't about the marathon at all. It was about control. She thought she could pressure me back into the relationship by making my life uncomfortable. Over the next week, she started telling mutual co-workers that I had snapped and that she was worried about me. A couple of them reached out asking if I was okay. Luckily, I had screenshots. Texts where she said running was boring. Texts where she said I was milking my brother's death. Messages where she called the race stupid. I didn't blast them online. I didn't want drama, but I saved everything. I also requested a copy of the HR complaint through internal policy. I scheduled a short consultation with an employment attorney just to understand my options. He told me that if someone knowingly made false statements to damage my employment, that could fall under defamation or retaliation depending on the circumstances. His advice was simple: document everything and let the company handle it first. Then she escalated. She posted a vague story on Instagram. Some people weaponized grief for attention. People started messaging me asking if it was about me. I still didn't respond publicly. Then she showed up at my apartment unannounced. "You're turning people against me," she said. "I haven't said anything. Your silence is manipulative." I said, "You reported me to HR. I was protecting myself." "From what?" She didn't answer. Then she said, "You would have never signed up for that marathon if he hadn't died. You needed a storyline." That was the most honest she'd been. I told her to leave. She didn't move. I said clearly, "Leave my apartment." When she still stood there, I said, "If you don't leave, I'm calling the police for trespassing." That's when she realized I wasn't playing around. She left. The next morning, I filed a formal written complaint with HR. I attached screenshots of her messages and screenshots of her social media post. I requested that all work communication between us go through supervisors only. HR launched a formal review. They interviewed both of us. They reviewed her complaint, my documentation, and her social media activity, which referenced a co-worker in a way that created workplace tension. A few weeks later, she was placed on administrative leave pending final determination. She texted me, "You're ruining my career." I replied, "You tried to damage mine." She came to my apartment again, this time crying. I didn't think it would go this far. "You filed a formal complaint accusing me of being unstable." I was hurt. "So you tried to hurt me back." She said, "I could lose my job." I said, "That was your choice." About a month after the investigation started, HR concluded that her complaint had no substantiated basis and that her social media posts and attempt to interfere with my employment violated company conduct policies. She was terminated. After that, she sent me a long email threatening to sue me for emotional distress and wrongful termination. I forwarded it to the attorney I'd spoken with earlier. He confirmed what I already suspected. She had no case. I wasn't her employer. I didn't fire her. The company made its decision based on its internal policies and investigation. I didn't respond to her email. The last thing I found out came from her best friend, who reached out privately. She told me my ex had said, "He always tries to fix things. If I make it uncomfortable enough, he'll apologize just to make it stop." That's what she thought of me, that I'd fold to restore peace. She didn't expect me to stand my ground. A couple months later, I ran another smaller race. No big announcement. No big social media post. My parents came again. My best friend came. I crossed the finish line and looked around. The people who love you show up. They don't ask if you won. They don't measure your grief by how entertaining it is for them. Looking back, I don't even feel angry anymore. I feel relieved. The marathon hurt. The breakup hurt. The HR mess was stressful. But it forced me to see who she really was. If someone tries to control you by attacking your stability, your job, or your grief, that's not love. That's entitlement. Anyway, that's my story. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. And if you ever run a marathon for someone you lost, I hope the right people are waiting at your finish line. If not, maybe it's time to upgrade your crowd. And if you want more stories about learning the hard way, you know what to do.